to today. And that's the back of the shop. So a lot's changed. And I think that's one thing I focus on quite a lot is constant changing and getting better and renovations. Not only because it helps with like customers and being a good businessman, but it's also like I can't stand still. I think that's the trait of being an entrepreneur is we need to always keep moving forward. So then in January 2020, there was a guy coming into the shop to sell me clothes, and he knew his stuff. I've never been much of a fashion expert. I was very much wanted to start a business. I saw that vintage clothing in Swansea would be a good thing to go for, and so I ran with it. This guy was coming in to sell me clothes, and I could tell he really knew his stuff. And I think this was a real sort of pivotal point for the business was getting an expert in the industry in with me. So I asked him to be my business partner, and he agreed. We said at the start, like, let me test trade upstairs in the first shop, and then we'll see how it goes. And luckily, it went very well. So I took a commission off him, and this was the day before we opened the upstairs. So I think there's another point to make is we do everything very, very last minute. I think it's something people can relate to in like university and sort of work as well. It's like you might be having a 3-month time frame to get a project to completion, but you're always going to be doing it at the last minute, and that's something that unfortunately is very, very true in my life. So that was the day before we were opening upstairs, and then that was just before the opening day, the morning after. So that's my business partner in the middle there, and me, looking a lot younger. So yeah, moving on then. So this slide is just basically show about taking opportunities. So we got given a lot of opportunities to do pop-ups and events, especially through the university. And this was, I'm sure a lot of you have been to Founders & Co on Wine Street. They gave us the opportunity to do pop-ups in their vintage fairs and also to rent out the entire place to do our kilo sales. That was something that led to an opportunity for us to actually go ahead and start a shop in there because they were looking for someone to fill a space. So that's how the second store came to fruition. That's still there, and I think I was speaking to someone earlier about the challenges of that store in particular is that the revenue is not that high in there. We have quite a small space in there, and something my business has to thrive on is having space, having choice. We have one of everything. We sell vintage clothing, so they're all one-of-a-kind pieces. So having a smaller store space does restrict the choice for the customer, and that's something that's very important with us. So we thought, how can we combat that? We're not going to be able to have more space, so we decided to run all of our online stuff out of this shop. So effectively, the revenue we make in this shop pays for the staff member who works there, and anything that online sales-wise is profit for us then. Then this is our newest shop and our flagship store and our currently newest shop. So in June 2023, took a big step to take a much bigger premises. This is just in between Noah's Yard and the Uplands Tavern. We faced a lot more problems in this place than we ever had done before. I undertake most of the building work myself, but because this was a big project, we had to get other people in. So for the first time I ever got paid anyone to do anything building-wise, we had a floor laid with self-leveler, and as you can see, after about 2 weeks, it all cracked up. I paid the guy in cash, and obviously we're missing straight away. So I think just things like that, you got a time frame to work to. I've got 3 weeks to open this shop from that point, and you're thinking, oh, this is a disaster. But you just have to put your head down, you have to knock it down, you have to go ahead with it. So we hired a big sanding machine, sorted it all out, and then this is what it looked like about a couple of weeks later. So still very, very, very like in the rudimentary stages of opening. We had a really cool idea of putting a big sort of question mark over the shops. That got a lot of people talking on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. But yeah, this is just sort of the process of taking it from start to finish. And sorry for anyone who's a bit nervous out there, but this was the shop 2 days before we were supposed to open. It still looked like that. I think the point is that it's always going to be last minute, but you just have to just knuckle down and get it done. And there is going to be sleepless nights, and there is going to be a lot of panicking and worrying, but just know you got there in the end. So I just wanted to show you the video. I apologise, there's a couple of swear words in the song, but someone sent me this. This was our opening day, and I think it's just really rounds up nicely how all your hard work sometimes can come really, really pay off. And this is something that just makes me really happy. So talking about the highs of opening a business, I think this was probably the best one. Do we have audio?
As far as I know, the technician's in the back, so...
think I played it. Yeah.
Press.
Sorry, technical.
It's okay.
difficulties.
We'll sort it. Is this video on anywhere? YouTube? Is this video on YouTube or anything?
No, I just put it in the slideshow.
I don't know if this worked.
That's all right.
Sorry.
You don't have audio. You speak into the mic.
Oh yeah, of course. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Shaun.
Well, just take my word for it. That is a really cool video about our opening day in Uplands. We had about 1,000 people through the door from start to finish. Yeah, it was a really good day. Again, you'll see the process of sort of is starting and finishing. But I think another important thing to take from that is make sure you have enough stock, because you might be a bit busier than you thought you'd be. By the end of the day, we were very low on it. So yeah, I just want to go over some challenges that I've faced along the way. So I think I touched on it earlier, was about choosing the right business partner. Something I didn't mention was when I first started, I did have a different business partner who, when I started the course through university, we joined together, didn't really know each other that well, and I think we had different goals to start in the business. So just be very careful, I think, with who you start the business with. I did have a bit of an issue when we were sort of coming to the end of our relationship of being business partners, about who owned what and who wanted what. So I think it's very important to remember that make sure you get into business with the right person. You're going to have to make some difficult decisions from the start. So whether that be who has maybe more shares in the business, but make sure you get that down on paper. Or if you can't decide on things, maybe it is better to go by yourself or find a business partner. But it's take the time and really think about that, because it is an important thing. And if you are more business minded and you're maybe not as an expert in the industry as someone else, then that's always a good idea as well, is to get someone who's more sort of informed on what you're doing, if you wanted to be more sort of the administrative side, which is just the way I work. Work-life balance, I think only after about being in business for about 7 years have I sort of found my work-life balance. At the start, I think it's just the case is it is going to be hard. You are going to be working all the time. It is going to be your baby, and I think it's just something to take into mind is you're not going to have a lot of work-life balance at the start, but it will eventually come. Staying on top of bookkeeping, very important thing. I think it stresses me out. My hairline goes back about 1 centimetre every year when I'm doing my taxes in January, and it makes it a lot easier if you just spend a bit of time at the start, get a really good spreadsheet going, potentially pay for some software or get a good accountant, and just stay on top of it, because it is absolutely the worst thing in the world coming around to January, doing your self-assessment or doing your company's tax, and you have to do it all at once. It's just so much easier. I think I'm at the point now where we're keeping on top of things every month, and all I have to do is press a button in January, and it's made me a lot happier, I can promise you that. Managing people as a young person. So when I first started the business, I was 19, and people I was hiring, probably by my age of 20, I started hiring staff, and I think it is difficult to manage people who are around your age when you're a young person, because obviously there's not a natural hierarchy there of the assumption that if someone's older they might be more experienced or they might have a position above you. There's also not a clear hierarchy in my business. You've got basically me and my business partner, and then you've got the staff. There's not sort of in between, and we don't have the processes in place that a corporate business might have. So I think it's not so much about being a bossy boss and really laying the rules down. It's more about just finding common respect between the both of you. If you are a similar age and you don't have a big business, it's about working out what the goal of the business is, what your goal of your staff is. Do you know what I mean? You don't really want them just to be there to make money. Obviously, that is the reality at the end of the day. But if you have to explain what your goal is for them, what their goal is for you as well, and make sure they're sort of happy and enjoying their role in your job. So I think that's sort of the solution to managing people as a young person that I found anyway. Key takeaways. So someone I live my business life by is see challenges as opportunities. I think any challenge that you may face can always be spun into an opportunity, or has been since I've been in business. So say someone breaks a window, then you get a thicker window. You spin that into an opportunity. Someone steals from the shop, then you put processes in place to make sure that people aren't going to steal again. You get CCTV cameras. You might get a coding system in place and start inventorying everything. And I just think anything that has gone bad, you could hang your head about it and worry about it, or you could go and sort it out and make sure it doesn't happen again. So I think that's a real important point. Use all resources available to you. So I think this was something that was really clear to me after I finished uni, when the resources that were available to me weren't there anymore, was how much I really grasped everything that the university offered to me. I mean, there's things above that though. Now you've got the King's Trust. There's so many different grants and different things out there that you can go to and speak to. I mean, most of them are here today, so I mean, really take advantage of that. Comparison is the thief of joy. I think this is another thing I live my life by. There will always be people around you who are doing better than you, doing different to you, and it's about taking inspiration off that. It's not about looking at them and thinking, oh my God, like he's doing way better than me. He's got way more customers. Or she's way more successful than I am. I think just be happy with where you are, but always be looking to go forward. Take inspiration off other people, but don't compare yourself to them. Work hard, I think, is just a very grounding statement. You know, you are just gonna have to slog it out for the first few years. There's no two ways about it, but at the end of it, you are gonna enjoy it. It all pays off. So that's all from me. Thank you very much, guys. Cheers.